Yeah. We are live, baby. Let me see. Okay, here we go. Let's make sure we got I don't see the volume. Here, give me 1 second with the volume. I don't know if I have the volume. It is not showing up. Testing, testing. Why is it not showing up? I need to see myself. I see myself clearly, but I do not. What are we talking about here? There we go. All right.
There we go. All right.
Yeah.
There we go.
We're
All
there.
right. There we go.
Cool. Cool. You got the sound.
Got the sound?
We good money. That's right. Oh man. We are live. Had to set things up. This is how it is when you're producing the videos on your own, right? You know what I'm saying? So look, about to go live. My first live in 2 weeks. Updated my setup. As you can see, if you tune into the last live, updated my setup a bit. Now we're ready to rock and roll. And yeah, we're setting up. Live, I got the sound. I got the video over here to see how I look. I can see the chat. And I have access to all the things I need. And let's get it. So, if you ever wonder why there are some people who always seem like they have enough time to do everything they need to do, or they always have enough money to take care of all the things they need to take care of, or they always have the best relationship, or they seem like they got all their relationships intact, and they're always moving with such passion and purpose. Maybe they have unlocked one, if not more, of the 4 levels of freedom. So, in this video, I'm going to talk to you and reveal to you the 4 levels of freedom and how you can access those 4 levels of freedom to take your life to another level. So, let me tell you. I'm going to tell you about first off top. If it seems like any of my words are slurred or you can't understand me well, it's because my lip is swollen because I bit it 2 or 3 times yesterday when I was out at dinner, but I'm working through it, so bear with me. And for everybody that's tuned in right now, if you don't know who I am, I'm Quintel Harcum, entrepreneur, founder of Harcum Holistic. I founded the Good Part and Company, plant-based health cafe and juice bar in Baltimore City. It became the first Black-owned food service provider to partner with Johns Hopkins University. We had that thing rocking and rolling from 2020 up until recently when I pivoted to upgrade my service to the community, and not just the local community in Baltimore, but basically worldwide with my new project, my new community, the wellnesscode.io. If you want to get down with the wellness code, learn more about it, get more tips, insights, and all those good things around health, wellness, holistic health, right? Fitness, nutrition, stress management. Same thing we've been talking about. Then you can check out the description. There's a link there. You can sign up to the new newsletter and the new community and see everything we got going on there. So now I want to tell you about the 4 levels of freedom because they actually came to me, or I learned about the 4 levels of freedom during the time I was launching my first brick and mortar cafe, right? My first location. So the 4 levels of freedom I learned about in a book called Who Not How by Dr. Ben Hardy and Dan Sullivan. Now I've been a fan of Dr. Benjamin Hardy for years. Like I came across him on Medium years and years ago. Whenever he had things popping in like the 20 teens, he was like really had things rocking and rolling on Medium. I would tap in every day, or every time he posts, and I read. This is back before you could pay. Everything on Medium was free. Right now you gotta pay. I would tap in, hear all these personal development and mindset uh, posts, right? Like I was in the blogs and things like that. I had my own full time. He had all these personal development things, productivity things, all these things about really unlocking your mind and becoming the best version of yourself. So I followed him. Eventually, I joined his mailing list. He started putting out books, and the first book he put out with Dan Sullivan was a part of a trilogy of books. And this first one was called "Who Not How," and it really was a great time because it was the first time I was learning how to access and bring the right who's into my life because I was launching and growing my cafe. So I literally needed people. I needed who's to come and help me build my business, right? Whether that be my interior designer, my friend Kiana, or my friend Nicole, who helped me organize the development of the juice bar, or the who like my cousin that helped me do some of the renovations, or the who was like my employees and things like that, right? So I had to figure out all of these who's, and who not how helped me understand who those who's could be and how they could help me. And now I want to share with you how you can find the right who's to help you get to the next level and stay at the next level. So let me tell you about the first part in the book that really helped me out, and that was the the psychological aspect. So I had a mindset breakthrough from the book because Dr. Ben Hardy broke down some insights from Harvard psychologist Robert Keegan, and he really talked about the different layers of self. And I like to think about these layers similar to like uh, a person growing up from a child to a middle-aged person, well, not middle-aged, but to a young adult, to full adult. So the first level of the self psychology is the socializing self, and the socializing self we can all relate to because that's pretty much where we all start from, because it's about conforming to the society around you. So you move out of fear, out of anxiety, and dependence on everybody else. And when you're an infant, when you're a child, you have to be dependent on other people, right? You got to be dependent on your parents. You need to be dependent on uh, elders and other people around you because they know the world that you don't. So you got to depend on them. When you're in the socializing self phase, you don't make decisions. You don't really have your own goals, and you seek acceptance from all your peers, right? Like I said, you're conforming. And what happens there is like you really are kind of stuck in a fearful mode. And some people kind of stay there and they always you can have arrested development and be stuck in the socializing self. And you only want to get approval from your peers. We know a lot of people like that. Like they're just followers, right? They don't, and it's not like to be a leader, you have to have a bunch of people following you, but all they do is follow others. And they don't really make any big time decisions. They kind of just it's kind of like a robot. Like, they just follow the programming. They follow the way that the script was laid out for them, and they just go on, right? Then you move on to the authoring self, which that was kind of the space I was in because I was calling my own shots by this time. So this book came out in 2021. So I'm listening to this book, and like I was really like I was thugging it out. What's up, man? Thanks for joining the chat. So I was thugging it out because I had my first cafe was like a mile and a half from my house, and I'm still working full time at Social Security. But I know I'm about to get up out of that thing because I just started my own business, like straight up real business. Like I got employees, I play payroll, and I'm on somebody else's payroll. But the reason why I say I was thugging it out is because I was walking to my cafe. My car broke. My car got in 2 years in a row. My car got totaled on almost the exact same day on my block. Like a car came down the street and hit my car twice, two different cars, 2 years in a row. So I didn't even have a car, right? And so I just had to. I was working from home, blessed and fortunate enough to be able to work from home, and then I had to walk to my cafe from my house. So I was listening to Who Not How, walking to work, walking back home, right? So that means I'm able to knock it out, within a couple of days. And so I'm listening to it, and it's really starting to set in. Like, yes, I'm in my authoring self phase, and this is the phase where, or this is the level of mindset where you move on from being dependent on others and you kind of move into a more healthy level of independence. So you have a higher sense of self. Right now, I know I can be an entrepreneur. I got to prove I wrote my business plan. I know I can be an entrepreneur. I just got to prove for $25,000 more than what I applied for. Right. So I got a different level of confidence. I'm calling my own shots. I dictated how this business is supposed to work. They believe me. So I'm feeling myself, right? In that sense. Uh, I'm building up some steam now. I'm building up some steam as far as people know I live a healthy lifestyle, and they they see this as an evolution for me. So now I got a little bit of a hold on like a customer base, right? So that's giving me confidence. I have an agenda. My worldview is based around being plant based, being healthy. My running group just gets signed to Under Armour. So all of these good things are happening in this phase where I'm authoring self. But the thing about the authoring self phase is that you kind of get a bias. Like you only see the world through your lens, through your view. You only have a very limited perspective. And I mean, you can have a high limit, but it's still limited, right? So I'm a business owner. Now I have a full-time job. Now I have employees. Now I'm calling different shots. So my perspective is higher than it once was, but it's still limited. And in that sense, you can get a little high off your own supply, right? You start feeling yourself, and you're very unwilling to change those views. Now, I wasn't really overconfident or feeling myself, but I was unwilling to change my views. And I'll give you a quick story on that. Right around, so we opened in September 2021. Right around March, April, that's like 7 months in, or 7 months in, uh, to having Good Part and Company, my first location. Right, this is in Mount Vernon, Baltimore. Right, real popping area. A fellow restaurateur in Baltimore, black-owned restaurateur, comes. I meet this person through a common friend, and I already knew who this person was. And I was like, this seems like somebody I would like to know, but I didn't really have no inroads, and I don't really just like to jump out there and be like, yo, introduce me to so and so, because I didn't really have any value to offer that person. I just felt like somebody that I need to know. I kind of understood where they was coming from, or how they was giving out game. So they came to see me. They checked me or whatever. They see what was going on. It was like, all right. So they came by the spot. They came by my juice bar one day. They seen the beautiful setup that we had. They seen what was going on, but I'm gonna keep it real. They realized we didn't have a lot of customers. There wasn't no big flow, but still they could see the level of the presentation and all that good stuff, right? So this is the perception. This is my worldview. I built out the world of Good Part and Company. I'm going somewhere with this. So they come through the store, they see what's going on, they support, buy a t-shirt, buy a juice. They love the juice, hit me back, let me know what they think, right? They're basically doing recon on me. So I catch COVID. So I got to close the store because I'm responsible for all the things. I'm not a great entrepreneur yet, so the business don't run without me. So I had to go ahead and close the store for a week. So they decided they was coming back that week to get more juice. I'm closed. They give me a phone call like, "Yo, what's going on? How things going? You closed, like close, like what's going on?" I was like, "No, I just got sick. I had to close for a week. It is COVID." They was like, "Oh, okay. Would you be interested in talking about partnering with Good Part and Company?" And this is where my bias and my unwillingness to change my worldview, because the deal was they wanted to buy in at 50%. Now I just started this business like 6-7 months ago. I'm not willing to give up anything, and then not half just so that you can come and give me some money and not really break it down and explain. So like my worldview was limited. Looking back, I probably wouldn't have been able to negotiate a better option for myself and then decide if we could do the partnership. So the author and self, you become more independent, but that independence puts you in a space where you have a limited worldview, right? And then this last phase is kind of the space that I'm in now as I pivot and change my business, because I realized the limits I had as an entrepreneur, as a restaurateur, as a cafe owner. This next phase of psychological self, this next level of mindset, is the transforming self. And this is where you're less competitive, you are more collaborative, more relational, and you're searching for relationships for the sake of transformation. And that's what happens when you start to look towards, like in business and entrepreneurship, you're looking towards mentors. If you are in your career and you're trying to level up, like you're trying to become a manager, you're trying to make a pivot and break out into like a different part of, like, maybe say, like I was in the public sector working for the government. I want to get in the private sector. I might need a mentor that's going to help me navigate that space, help me climb the ranks, help me climb the ladders. I might have to enroll into a leadership program through the government. Like they have these a lot of different places. So in the transformative self phase, and that's what I began to be, because that same person who came to me that wanted to partner ultimately became my mentor for a while in food and beverage, and helped me learn and transform as an entrepreneur. And that was a great thing, because from there, when you are approaching things from the transformative space, you looking for the collaborations, you looking to see who you can help, you looking to see how they can help you. And Jojo, what's happening? Thanks for joining. And so when you think it from that space, the whole pie get bigger, right? It's a transformative thing where 1+1 don't equal 2. 1+1 equals 11. You feel me? And the whole becomes greater than the sum of the parts. And that's the kind of space that I was moving in, because now I'm looking around and I'm seeing different opportunities. Now I'm still shifting back and forth between the authoring self and the transformative self. And I always want to be in the transformative self space. I always want to be looking for transformational relationships. But now I better understand the value I bring to any deal, to any offer, whether it be my partnership with Johns Hopkins, the deal that my running group has with Under Armour, with my employees and helping them become better employees, get new jobs, become managers, and grow in my business or anybody else's business. So all parties involved get better. All parties give more than they get. And that's what happens when you start to adopt the transformational mindset. And so those three mindsets are the first things that got introduced to me that I really took a hold of when I read Who Not How. Now, when you read things about that and you really embrace different mindset shifts, it breaks your frame, like the way that you see the world, and that opens you up to a different level of freedom. That's what we're talking about here. Today is Juneteenth. It's Freedom Day. We're talking about freedom, and you got to free your mind, right? You can't just think you're just gonna walk around free and make things happen, but it's always levels. Like Meek Mill told us, it's levels to this. And so once you open your mind, you can get mentally free, and then you can start changing the world around you in the way you see fit, in the way that works for you and your family. So mindset shifts from the socializing self to the authoring self to the transformative self. First three things I learned in Who Not How about me accessing a higher level of freedom. Okay, so now let's talk about the actual 4 levels of freedom. I appreciate that. That's right. The transformational mindset cannot be overlooked, and it takes a long time for some people to get there. Some people never get there, unfortunately, but it can't be overlooked. And I wish more people who have that mindset, they're always willing to share, but they're also always in that mode of transformation. So like sometimes they can't look back, because if you're applying the principles from Who Not How, you don't spend a lot of time with people who hold you back, who drain your energy. And those people they don't really have the transformative mindset. And so the people who do have it can't really speak back to the folks who need to get there, because their mind is still like in a box, and that box hasn't been broken. And it's tough, and they gotta break that mental frame on their own. And that's when that gets overlooked, because they come across somebody who's moving that way, and they just don't understand why this person is making so many things happen. But that's why I'm doing this video, so that I can share. That's why I'm on this live, so I can share, and hopefully somebody else can go by Who Not How. You can actually, I put a link in the description for this video, so you can just go straight to Amazon and cop that joint on Audible or whatever you get books. Same on IG Live. You guys can just go to my YouTube page, or just go on Amazon and look up Who Not How. Very simple. 3 words, 9 letters. Who Not How. Now, let's talk about the 4 levels. So, boom. 4 levels of freedom. Now, when you are an entrepreneur, these 4 levels are very clear and present. You really, you see it all day, all the time, especially if you actually care about getting better in your business. When you are not an entrepreneur, these things are always moving around you, and you may not know what those things. Paris, what's happening, man? Thanks for jumping in the chat, jumping in the live. You may not know how to access them, but they are always available to you. The 4 levels of freedom. The 4 levels of freedom are freedom of time, freedom of money, freedom of relationships, and freedom of purpose. Nikki, what's happening? I just mentioned you earlier in this live, talking about the who's who helped me get Good Part and Company rolling. So thank you. I always appreciate you for helping me organize my mind and lay out the plan for how, and getting that big whiteboard together that we did, so that we could get the cafe open. So thank you so much. Always appreciate you for that. So the 4 levels of freedom, right? When you're an entrepreneur, this is why they are always so clear and present. You always need more time, so you can go and do things that make more money, so you can have the relationships you want to have, and so that you can move in your purpose, because you always got to be working on your business, because you start to realize what your purpose is in your business, and you always want to spend as much time there. Like in my case, I'm gonna keep it super real when it comes to Good Part Company. I started out making juice in my apartment, literally inviting friends over into my living room. I had a little island breakfast bar set up. I'm on one side of the breakfast bar, just making juice. Everybody else on the other side, just kicking it, chilling, having fun, listening to music, whatever. I don't like making juice. It's a lot of labor. And then when you upgrade and you get bigger, more commercial machines, you can make more juice in a little bit less time, but there's not much you can do There's really not much you can do to avoid food prep. Food prep take hella long. I'm sitting here chopping with big blades, so on and so forth, cutting apples and pineapples and carrots. I don't like that labor. I'm not trying to spend my time on it. Straight up. I need freedom of time away from that. So let's talk more about freedom of time. I, so in my case, I was trying to get away from having to prep and make juice and make smoothies. I'm not trying to be behind the counter at my juice bar at all because I need to be doing marketing, doing the creative stuff, hosting IG lives, talking more to the people, building more relationships, setting up vendor accounts, right? Those types of things. You need to, freedom of time allows you to participate more in higher quality activities. Now, the higher quality activities allow you to access the other levels of freedom, right? Freedom of money, freedom of relationships, and freedom of purpose. But freedom of time, you need to take care of that first. Now, freedom of time always changes because you can always be freeing up your time to work on higher and higher quality activities, right? More valuable activities. And how you get freedom of time goes back to the title of this book. Who is the person that can help you get the thing done that's going to unlock that time for you? And so when you're an entrepreneur, you know what you got to do at that time. If you're not, you may always think of your time in terms of when you got to be on the clock at your job. And that's okay. I mean, I totally understand that. And so you got to think about who you can get to unlock more time in your life, right? So you may need somebody to help do your grocery shopping. You may need to ask somebody, can they pick up your son or daughter? Or you may need to ask your employee, like, yo, can you check this part of the case? And then I can go through. Thanks for helping them out with those four levels of freedom in the chat. I appreciate that. Yep. Freedom of time, money, relationship, and purpose. Right. And so if you can find the right who, it could be as low as, it could be not low, but it could be as minute as having somebody come clean your house for $50 a week. That person unlocks more time so you can do the other things you need to do around your house. You can make other phone calls. You can, if you work from home, you can just really focus on doing your work, or you can start working on your meal plan, or you got more time to go, on a walk or do some exercising. But everybody can access more freedom of time by getting the right person, the right who can help you do that. And it's an infinite loop, and it's a good loop, right? You can infinitely increase the value of your activities and your time, because most of us want to use that time to be with our family, to be with our friends, to enjoy the things that we like. So that's what freedom of time does. So in my mind, I had to think, I got to find good employees who can hold down a cafe so that, one, I can keep doing my job because I still work for the government for the first two years of me having my cafe. Two, the better they get, the less I have to be in the cafe, the more I can grow the cafe, the more I can take advantage of opportunities to do vending, like when we did the CIAA, or like when we did Vegan Soul Fest. Like, I was only able to do that because I was able to find good employees. I was able to train them. We was able to make some moves. They was able to give me ideas that I can go execute. If I execute on those ideas, one, they feel validated and useful. Two, it makes us all more money. Freedom of time. Now, freedom of money. Now, people always say time is money. Time is not money. Money is energy. The word current is the base word for currency. Current is energy flow. Currency is money. That's energy flow. You got to walk with me on that. Time is not money. Energy is money. So you use the money to free up energy. That energy comes in the form of your attention. That's what freedom of money gets you. It gets you freedom of your attention, and you use that attention to what? Focus on the things that you want to do, or focus on higher leverage activities. When you're able to focus on higher leverage activities, you improve the quality of your life. If you have a business, in my case, you get to increase revenue because now you can put your attention on things that's going to leverage more money. For example, we did juice cleansers in the juice bar. I just had juice cleansers on the website. Whenever you want one, you order it. I'm trying to make it accessible all the time. But once I got a good enough staff, I was able to go back and reevaluate the plan. Like, yo, I'm training my customers the wrong way. They think the only time they're supposed to buy juice cleansers is when they go on sale because it's always available. The idea came to me because I was able to shift my attention on how can I make this process, one, better and more desirable, and two, more advantageous to the customers. Then it hit me. Most customers only want it around the change of the season, especially going into summer or going into the new year. I'm only going to put the juice cleansers up available at that time, and I'm not going to put them on sale so I can retrain the customers to buy it at a better price, which makes it better for me and my staff who got to help prep the juice. So I can focus my attention on higher leverage activities, which is how to increase profit margin on a particular item, which happened to be the higher ticket item in the store, right? So you really got to be able to use your money for that. And I used my money, which was, I didn't take a salary. I didn't get paid. I just paid my employees. They spent all the hours at the shop and making the juice. And I figured out how I can get us more money on those juices. Right? So you use money to free up your mind, your energy, and your attention. But you also use the money so that you can do less. For example, I'm an only child. My mom helped raise me to figure out how to do all of the physical, laborious tasks in my household. Great, fine. It makes me, a bit dexterous and understand how to make some things happen, or not, how to at least go try to figure it out because I want to get it done for my mom. But as I got older, like in my 20s, I moved, but my mom still needed to get her grass cut and she had a lawnmower. She wants to use the lawnmower. So I had to go all the way over to her house on the other side of town, 35 minutes away, and cut the grass almost every weekend. And I was like, I'm so tired of doing this. On top of that, I was working overtime. Crazy. This is way before I started the juice bar, right? Then I really adopted the mindset like, yo, I'm not cutting this grass no more, man. Like, I'm not doing this anymore. Not because I don't love you, but I just ain't got the time. So we just gonna pay somebody. So either you gonna pay or I'll give you some money towards it, but I ain't driving all the way over here. That's an hour time, right? To and fro. And then whatever, how much time it take me to actually, what's happening, guys? Thanks for jumping in the live. However much time it take me to actually cut the grass. So I'd rather just pay somebody to cut the grass. They're probably gonna do a better job than me. They're gonna cut the grass with love because I don't love cutting grass. I'm gonna be out there mad, hot, and sweating. So I'd rather just pay them. Now I got a whole minimum 1 hour, maximum 3 back to myself on a Saturday that I just worked overtime for. So that's when I really started to learn how to leverage money to improve my time. So freedom of money. Use freedom of money so that you can leverage higher level activities, more energy, more mental bandwidth, and actually do less so you can improve and increase your quality of life or your revenue. All right. So third level of freedom of relationships. This has never been more prevalent in my life than the last 6 months. Well, sorry, the whole last year. So boom. Talked about it in my previous live, but I just closed my cafe because I realized the relationships that I had with some of my customers doing consultations in class in the cafe were far more valuable than the relationship of me being a juice bar attendant. Me making smoothies and juice and selling them is not as valuable as me being able to get people a high quality health result around fitness, nutrition, or stress management, right? And if you're interested in that, in the description, you can click a link and set up a free one-on-one strategy call. I can talk to you about it because I spent so much time in my cafe just talking to people coming through. Like the doctor said, I have high blood pressure, or I got this level of inflammation. Now, I'm not certified to give medical advice, but I am certified as a holistic nutritionist, so I can give nutritional advice. The same nutritional knowledge I have from my certification, I put into the menu of the juice bar, which gives me, the leverage of either just giving you a product or giving you like a full strategy or just a proper meal plan, that type of stuff, right? So what I realized is the relationships that I was coming across in the cafe were just more valuable. And that's what helped me build out Harlem Holistic and now the wellnesscode.io. You can find that in the description. But even more so, once you have a business that's serving a good purpose, like Good Part and Company now becomes a product. It's a valuable product where people want to be tied in. So now I got relationships with vendors. I got relationships with other restaurateurs. I got relationships with my employees. My biggest relationship, though, was with Johns Hopkins University. And so I realized that relationship was not one that was going to allow me to grow. And when it comes to freedom of relationships, you use these relationships, these connections, to either create, right, more or less opportunities in your life. That's what happened in relationships. Like all relationships create or distract from the opportunities that you're going to have in your life. Some people decrease the amount of opportunities you're gonna have because that's a poor relationship, or they increase it because it's a good relationship. And it's not about using people. You have to be useful. Other people are useful, so you need to have good relationships, and you want to be able to choose those relationships. That was a part of the reason why I wanted to start my own business. It wasn't just so I can get money, because we definitely trying to get money, but I wanted to have the autonomy to do what I want, when I want, where I want, with whom I want. While I was at Johns Hopkins, I realized that that was not the relationship I wanted to have going forward forever in my business if I wanted to grow as an entrepreneur. All right, so relationships create better opportunities, more time, more money, and more freedom. So it's going to take, you have to go up a few levels of the up a few levels in the freedom ladder, right? Um, Relationships are definitely a form of wealth. You know what it was just not too long ago. Last year, sometime they was talking about either taking a large lump sum of money or having dinner with Jay-Z. There are some people who feel like that relationship with Jay-Z, being able to talk to him about a question or whatever the case may be, is far more valuable. That's a form of wealth, right? Being able, because knowledge that you actually use that's applied is wealth, because you can just generate so many opportunities, more money, all that good stuff, right? And so that's what happens when you have really good relationships. Now, what you want to do with these relationships, though, is you use the freedom of relationships to increase your freedom of money and time. Because if you have the right relationships, for example, in my case, I'm going to speak through the lens of Good Part and Company if you haven't noticed yet, but I can always tie it back to passively working like in my data analyst job, right? So if I don't have as many freedom of relationships. The coworkers I have is the coworkers I have, and that could be the space that you in. Like, you can't pick who your coworkers are. When you have a business, you can pick who your employees are. You can pick who you partner with, right? And that's when you got to start taking better advantage of your freedom of time or your freedom of money, right? But if you have good freedom of relationships, you can create more time, you can create more money, because you can go and get in certain rooms. If you got relationships and you in certain rooms, you know what's about to go down in those rooms. No, they just going to create. We only talking about the good rooms now. I was about to say something, but I decided not to. When you get in those rooms, those relationships, like, it's worth paying. Like, I pay for online coaching and this and that, and I haven't been to like a lot of big events, but the ones I can go to, I show up because the people. Oh, for example, this February I went to Carnegie Hall for uh, an event where Robert F. Smith was going to be there. It was hosted by Aaron Leisure, so it was a bunch of other business people there on stage. Governor Westmore was there, which is one of the reasons why I went. But I wanted to be in a room with either a bunch of people who are interested in being millionaires or who already are millionaires, and one of them was a billionaire, and he's the wealthiest black man in America. I had to go be in that room, because in that room is relationships of people who can help me make more money or get more time back. And what I learned in that room is how to use my time better. So that was one of the lessons I learned, and I wrote it down and I shared it on Instagram. So you can go find that post on my Instagram feed. So freedom of relationships. Use these relationships to increase your opportunities, your time, and your money. Now, what I can say, and this is something that's going to take. This is the part going back to, because listen, good authors tie everything together. Ben Hardy is one of my. I've been following a lot of his stuff. So one of my favorite authors, and he's an organizational psychologist by PhD. So that's what he is trained in, formally educated academically. Going back to the mindset shifts, when you have a transformational, when you're in the form the transformational self, you're looking for transformational relationships, which means you have to continuously audit your relationships so that they can stay transformational, so they can continue to maximize your energy towards your commitments and your goals. And those commitments and goals are always tied back to your time, your money, your relationships, and your purpose. Okay? So, speaking about purpose, we're going to talk about the last form of freedom, which is freedom of what's happening, man. Thanks for jumping in the chat. Jumping in the live. I keep saying chat. Uh, Freedom of purpose. Now, freedom of purpose seems it's not an easy one for some people to grasp, and it wasn't easy for me to grasp, because you would think that that's the first thing you need. You need to have the freedom to choose what your purpose and passion is and things like that. Well, this is a quick sidebar. My business originally was not even originally. when I was trying to think about how to start a business, people always say follow your passion and you won't feel like you work a day in your life. While that's true, your passion may not make you money, not as much money as you think you want, or you will come up against the things that you have to do that's considered work around your passion, and you will not like it as much. Now you should have some passion towards it because that passion can help you get through the tough times. But trust me, you will develop passion for things you're good at, and you will find that you feel that you're moving more intentionally and in a higher purpose when you are actually good at the thing. So think about the things that you're good at, or go get good at something. And trust me, you're going to develop some freedom. I'm telling you. Because if you're good at something, people who's going to come your way, they want to throw opportunities at you. They want to throw money at you. And all that money, those opportunities, that time, money, and relationship is going to give you freedom. That's what we're here to talk about right now on this Juneteenth. It's Freedom Day, baby. That's what we're talking about. So, freedom of purpose. Now, your sense of purpose expands as you gain deeper value in what you're actually doing. And so for me, going back to Good Part and Company, I knew I just wanted to have my own business because I had a business before and I wanted to get back in entrepreneurship. But I just knew this time I need to do something that actually worked with my lifestyle because it's not work. I'm actually doing it. So living a plant-based lifestyle, drinking smoothies, drinking juice, doing healthy stuff, being creative. That was my whole vibe. So that's where I was at with it. So then I start the business, I get it open, and I start to learn more about food and beverage. Straight up, when it comes to business, food and beverage is not a good model to start with if you don't already have money, or you don't have a whole lot of passion, or you don't have partners. It doesn't matter if you have experience. Your experience can help it. Let me take that back. Having experience matters, but it doesn't matter more than having enough capital or a whole lot of passion that's going to get you through. Now, my whole point in saying that is the more I learned about food and beverage, the more I learned about the result that I got for people. That was the deeper value that I found in having Good Part and Company, in having that business, and making quick serve plant based food items. So making smoothie bowls, making beet juice, talking to somebody about how the nitric oxide get more oxygen to their blood, and that they can recover faster for my friends that run, or now they got more energy for a longer period of time throughout the day because their blood is better oxygenated. So that helped me expand my purpose from behind the counter to here where I'm online able to share with more people, at least if not all at once over a longer period of time, because having a juice bar, my income and my actual purpose that I'm able to access and activate is limited locally and geographically. I can only do but so much in one store. And so like we would be I would check the I would check the Good Part and Company Instagram account and get DMs like, hey, when you doing a pop up in Atlanta? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know when I'm going to get there. My business is not built to be mobile because I'm only here in Baltimore. So now I can't serve my purpose on a greater scale because I'm locked in locally, right? Geographically, I'm fixed. So I'm learning by me being able to offer more value, I have to get out of this model. So have to change my purpose. My purpose is now not to just serve smoothies and smoothie bowls. My purpose is to offer value in the holistic health space, specifically to people who live the life that I lived in a cubicle at a demanding desk job, feeling sick, sore, stiff, stressed. Those are all things I experienced. Those are all things I can help other people with. Let me figure out a way to do that. That's how we end up code. And again, if you want to get down with the wellness code, the link is in my bio on IG. It's in the description of this video. So the freedom of purpose is the fourth level of freedom. And your purpose may change over time. And that's cool. One thing I found out, one thing that I learned, and he didn't make this up, but he's the first person to tell this and share this with me. My mentor that I told y'all that I came up on a few years after I opened Good Part, a few months after I opened Good Part and Company, he was like, Q, your dreams gotta be so big you can fit other people's dreams inside of them. That dream purpose that's interchangeable in that case. Your purpose gotta be so big that other people can execute and live out their purpose within your purpose. And they let me know I was playing small ball. I was playing way too small. I'm in this one cafe in the back pressing juice where I have other resources and talents that I can offer on the other side of this, and somebody else could be doing this until they cultivate their skills, and then they can go and make another move, right? But I need to be able to change my purpose and shift and use my freedom of time to go and impact lives at a different way, in a different way, at a different scale, right? And so, listening to that book in 2021, and I opened in 2020. I had those car accidents 2021, 2020, 22, 2020, and then 2021, whatever the 2 years were. And that led me to listening to this book. And then I took everything that I learned in this book and started to apply it and it really helped me like see the world in a whole different way. The book again is Who Not How by Dr. Ben Hardy and Dan Sullivan. Dan Sullivan is actually or was Ben Hardy's business coach. Now, time to wrap this up. I'm about to bring it home. I like to talk about my favorite things because y'all really want to know what the best parts of the book was. I just gave y'all the lessons. Let's get into the fun part. The takeaways, my favorite takeaways, and my favorite quotes from this book. So, if you ever read any kind of personal development books, remember, personal development is not the same thing as them self-help books. That was what they called it before. Authors got bigger, better, started making better connections, and personal development became a whole thing. Um, what happens in a lot of the books is that they have their core concepts and they just give a bunch of case studies around the concepts. And sometimes it can get really, really boring. Or they use proof of concept or testimonials and like I said, case studies. And in this case, they'll have like quotes from somebody who said something related to what they did or quotes from articles that support the concept of the core concept of the book. If the quotes are good, if the case studies are good, it's memorable, and you can use that as a takeaway. So I have this big note. I'm gonna show y'all guys this real quick because I feel like it's important. People don't really use all the technological power that we have. So I keep a whole Apple note of um, just like my favorite quotes and lessons that I get from podcasts and YouTube. And like if I just get real nerdy and write stuff down, like I'll draw out whole diagrams around it. And so these are all quotes from people like, it could be anybody from Malcolm X to Patrick Bet David, Jim Rohn, you know what I mean? All of those things, right? Dan Sullivan, Ben Hardy, whoever, like all of the people, Myron Golden, all people that you know now, Alex Omosi, whoever, and then people from the past. Now, or lessons that I actually learned or came up with my own, I might write down like in this note. And this note is about how I want to see life, right? It helps me clarify life. I wrote down what I want in a wife, um, the kind of man that I want to be. I wrote how much money I want to make, like all those things ahead, and they in this note. Now, I took it one step further and I was like, yo, I'm going to start doing that type of thing with all my books. And Who Not How, I have the audio book version. I just told you I'm walking down the street from my cafe to my house. But you can type notes. Excuse me, guys, that's the dog upstairs. But you can type notes inside of Audible. And that's difficult if you're busy, but if you're just walking and you catch something that's good, you pause it, you type it down. So let's get into my favorite takeaways and quotes from Who Not How. I'm only going to use 3 because I don't want to take up all y'all time. It is Freedom Day, so y'all need to be going to enjoy some freedom, right? My first one, you are rewarded in life for the results you produce, not the effort and time you put in. Listen, there are different ways people say this a lot of different ways, but this is something that Ben Hardy said towards the end of the book, and it really resonated with me. This is the first thing that I typed down in the book. It really resonated with me because I was always a fan of just doing hard work. The more work you do, the more you can say. But you don't get extra credit for doing more, right? Kanye got a line on one of his lesser known songs, like the Power remix version that had Jay-Z on it, right? Crazy Swiss beats, flip the beat at the end and all that. Hold up, what's the pop? Whatever it is, a Kanye line where he say, "Do the rap and the track, triple double, no assist," right? And in some cases, like we all know it isn't incredible. It's not in some cases. It's an incredible thing to be able to rap at a high level and produce a beat, right? But like you said, exactly, you are paid for the value you give, not for the work you put in. And having all this really comes together. It really hit me because in the cafe, I'm coming off it talking to her, and I'm like, these consultations are like maybe 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 20 minutes if there's no customers and I got time. I'm coming off a conversation and I'm realizing the value I'm giving to that person because Not only am I giving them tips on what they can do, I got books. We had the Good Part University in the cafe. So I'm like, well, this is what I think you can do. And to further back that up, here go the book. That's where I got it from. This is what I've done or what I've seen work. And then they come back a few weeks later, like, yo, that really helped. I feel more energized, or I'm not really having whatever issue they had before. A lot of times they had to do with inflammation, right? So I'm like, damn, that's a valuable outcome for that person. That's far more valuable than the price of a smoothie, right? And so it let me know, okay, yeah, I helped build out this place. I designed a logo. Me and my interior designer Kiana, she helped me do the decorations, right? The whole interior design, not just decorations, interior design. Yeah, I made the menu. I designed the menu board. I printed the menu board. I installed the menu board. I put the floor down in the back. I painted the walls. I do this. I set up the account to get the this in. Um, whatever all the things I did in the store, I don't get no extra credit for that. All I get is whatever they pay me for the price of that smoothie or the price of that bowl. That is not rewarding. It damn it made me not want to be in the cafe because I'm feeling like this ain't worth it. Food and beverage is a tough business, but I'm not in there trying to be ungrateful. Once I hear this, it changed my mind. It's like, okay, that's the play. That's what it is. Then you gotta remember, Quintel. All right, it don't mean to stop putting in work. It don't mean to stop putting in time, but it just means that you gotta shift to offer the value, right, so that you can be rewarded for what you given. So that's the first quote. That's directly from Ben Hardy. Then the second quote is from Peter Drucker. Now Peter Drucker did a lot around like sales and marketing and stuff like that, and people really love him. I love it because I'm one of them. I used to be one of those big productivity buffs, and I still am to a certain degree. But I realize that it's a certain level of productivity that's like going to be diminishing returns, and I don't got to worry about all that right now. So the quote goes: "Effectiveness is doing the right things. Efficiency is doing things right." Why that? Why that quote was so important to me, because I always focus on efficiency. How fast can we get the smoothie done? How fast can I got to figure out a new process to make the juice, clean the juice machine, wash all the dishes, bottle the juices, get them in the fridge, get them packaged, get them moved out. Like, what's the most efficient way to do it? But what I should have been focusing on, what's the most effective thing I should be doing? The most effective thing I should be doing is creating an SOP and then just giving the whole juice process off to somebody else. They can't make the process because they don't know all of the tools yet. If I hire somebody new, they don't know this already. I mean, they may have experience, but it's not likely. Um, so you want to be effective and efficient. Get effective first, especially from an entrepreneur standpoint and from an employee standpoint. That's one thing. That's why I was so stuck in the efficiency box, because my directions is already given to me, right in the cubicle. Boom, here go the email, here go the directions. This is what you do. It's in your job description. And now I'm just focusing on the most efficient way to do this. How fast can I get through this case? How can I set up folders in my computer so I can go to the directions and analyze this data the way I need to get the output that I want? What's the fastest way I can get this printed and come and get it, sent back over to me, or fax or whatever, right? So that had me stuck in efficiency mode. And that happens to a lot of us when we are given directions. But what I teach my clients when we're talking about uh, stress management is, if you make time to do the higher priority task, that's what being effective looks like, right? Whether you're an entrepreneur or an employee. If you're doing higher leverage things, and you do higher leverage things by using your freedom of money to improve the quality of your time or the value of your time, now you're doing effective stuff, then you can do the efficient things. Because the more effective you are, the margin for efficiency, it's a little bit bigger. Like, you can make a few more mistakes, but eventually you're going to be able to close that margin, and you're not even going to have to worry about it because you're just going to be super efficient and effective. So that's the space you want to be in. So that's the second best quote. That's my second favorite takeaway. And the last one is a quote by Ayn Rand. I'm an Ayn Rand fan. Just for full reference, I have a bachelor's degree in philosophy. Never found a job in philosophy. I don't even know really what it means, but I liked it. Ayn Rand is a philosopher, and that's why I know about it. So Ben Hardy mentions her here. The creative man is motivated by the desire to achieve, not by the desire to beat others. Now, I will not lie. this is something that I struggle with big time because my background is in sports. Like I used to hoop when I was in high school. I still hoop, and just by sheer from the fact of sports competition, growing up in the inner city and around people with scarcity mindset, sometimes you just get the scratching and clawing for the stuff that you need and want, and so you come up in competition mode. So you just going hard, and also I just don't believe in being lazy. And the only the polar opposite of that is just going hard all the time. And so it's hard to really turn it off. But at some point, you do realize that you get motivated by the achievement, right? And really just being better than who you were before, right? So really, you're just competing with your former self. And when you can better embrace that, you can better live out this quote, right? Again, the creative man is motivated by the desire to achieve, not by the desire to beat others. Now, and then also, I'm gonna keep it super real. Sometimes I just want to win. I just want to beat whoever is there. But honestly, like Peter Thiel says, competition is for losers. So when I look around the room, like when we had the juice bar, when I first started, I was like, yeah, I want to be best of Baltimore, whatever, whatever. But then I realized I don't want to be the best. That's the best is different from your favorite. I wanted to be people's favorite. I wanted to be the one at the top of mind, right? Because people gonna look at best. You can determine what's best just straight off the numbers, right? And so there's a juice bar that have way more locations than me, make way more money than me. But then when I go into their spot a year and a half after I open, I read they got books in their juice bar, right? And not to say other people didn't, but we don't know who did what before Good Part and Company opened. I can tell you that, right? So that let me know I'm in people's minds. So once I shift from that, from wanting to be best to being the favorite just means you got more of an impression in people's mind, and you can make more of an impression by being creative, by being that creative man, by having a desire to achieve. And I wanted to just achieve more, and you know that helped me because in my case, like with Good Part and Company, I got a partnership with Johns Hopkins, the first partnership of its kind with Johns Hopkins. And I was not competing with anybody. I only wanted to achieve to the point where I was like, the dog got to chill right now. I was like, I gotta figure out, I gotta just get the. I was open across the street from a Smoothie King. That's straight up ain't no more competition than that. Smoothie King got way more, real estate across the country, more mental real estate. People know it's a far more popular brand. I opened up right across the street. I'm stepping straight into competition because that's how I move with some. But for a minute I was only thinking about how can I take away from them. But when you don't compete, you don't have to worry about taking away somebody else's customers. You just grow your customer base. And so that resonated with me. Like I said, this book really came into my life at a good time, and I kind of feel like that around all books. All books come into your life at the right time. You may not understand all of the lessons. Sometimes you gotta look back on the lessons, like what I'm doing now as we talk about achieving these 4 levels of freedom. But these are 3 of the quotes that really hit, and these are my favorite. There are a few more, of course, but these are my favorite. One from Dr. Ben Hardy himself, one from Peter Drucker, one from Ayn Rand, and so those quotes help me stay connected to the 4 levels of freedom. Again, freedom of time, freedom of money, freedom of relationships, and freedom of purpose. Let's go get more freedom. Today is Juneteenth. We're going to carry this Juneteenth Freedom Day energy with us each and every day because your personal freedom is what's most important. And you can access better personal freedom by improving your health for sure, because you will for sure have freedom of at least energy to be able to go out and make moves and really have a good, valuable time. Right. So 4 levels of freedom. Again, I learned these through or from Dr. Benjamin Hardy's book, Who Not How. Appreciate y'all spending time with me on this live. I'll tap in soon. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Follow on IG. Link is in the description. Link is in the bio here. To join the Wellness Code, my new newsletter and community, the wellnesscode.io. You go there, you'll see what it's all about. You get some straight up quotes from me, and it's also a gift at that page if you go and check it out now. I'll see you guys next time. Yes, and thank you. I appreciate you for rocking with me this whole time, and thanks for sharing and for jumping into the chat and giving such a great response. Check you out later.
good to be here with my brother. Come to check out the fashion, see what's going on, and be a part of it. Been down with Nego forever.